looks like I got it figured out. I'm just seeing how to move these around. Anyway. Yeah, there we go. The screen share like that. So this is a video that I did earlier on today. And I'm just going to play it real quick. And I'll just walk you guys through it. So Yossef Bodansky, he was the director of the Congressional Task Force on Terrorism and Unconventional Warfare through the U.S. House of Representatives from 88 to 2004. He was also the director of research at the International Strategic Studies Association. And then it has the rest of the stuff, including him being the, oh, it's not sharing. Okay, here we go. That, yeah, for the Department of Defense and State. So he was also in charge of this publications, right? It's part of the Intelligence Summit. Now the Intelligence Summit gets really interesting, as does the Prague Society. So I was gonna let this play through. You guys can read about it a little bit. But he was basically one of the guys charged with not only infiltrating and getting like on the ground data and stuff from people, because that's how they came up with their ideas. But he's also on the task force where they sent members to Afghanistan to work with the Mujahideen. So he was in charge of that, and we'll get to in a little bit here one of the guys that he was in charge of. Okay, but he wasn't necessarily on the ground over there, but he sent other people. And so he's been one of the guys, and he's a Zionist. He's an Israeli dual citizen. He works with Mossad a lot as well. And it gets interesting because, yeah, there's been a lot of criticisms of him because him and Bruce Hoffman literally created up the Boogeyman of domestic terror and the war on terror. Like, they were literally writing the reports as the CIA was actively still doing ops here in the States and other places. Because most of the quote unquote terrorism span the 14 eyes. So that's interesting. There's the Bosnia controversy because he's being like paid by lobbyists, right? And so like the guy's he's a shill, he's a paid shill, right? But he's also a Zionist, and they worked with the right to have the right Israeli lobby basically be warmongers for money, man. And that's what it comes down to. So, and it goes through all this, but he has ties to some of these names will come up again. Because there was a whole criminal enterprise he was very close to, easiest way to put it. So I did this where I was slow enough where you guys could read it. So both Mark Sageman was against both Hoffman and Bodansky on some stuff. And Mark Sageman is one of the guys that was the CIA operative actually in charge on the ground during the whole dealio with them funding the Mujahideen and Iran-Contra and that. So he was the one actually like working with the Mujahideen. And it explains exactly what they did, how they armed them, how to get them medical coverage when they needed it. Yeah, it gets pretty interesting. In a few minutes here, we'll go back to the other screen. I'm only gonna probably do part of this today, and we'll do part of it a different day. But yeah, the Prig Society. Here's one of the things that he was part of, right? And it's based in communist Central Europe, and it was their political dissidents, right? And it explains everything that they did there. But yeah, they basically using unorthodox methods do clandestine warfare throughout the world. Oh, huh. I think I've heard of something like that, like stay behinds in communist countries. Like I think it's called Operation Gladio. So shout out to Colonel Townsend on that one, right? That's a regular favorite saying. It's hashtag Operation Gladio. So yeah, this is all the people that were affiliated with it, right? It just gets funny because in a minute here you'll figure out who some of these people were. So, and if you realize that the communists were the same people group, they were just different because the communists weren't Zionists, right? So as what was his name? Churchill said, Zionism versus communism, struggle for the soul of the Jewish people, or whatever it was. Yeah, Churchill actually wrote something like that, man. It's under my articles on X if you're on X. So, but yeah, this is who they are. This is what they do. They have CEOs, lobbyists, secretaries of state. They all get together. And this is the other group that he's a part of, right? Intelligence Summit. Wonder who these guys are, right? It's run by John Loftus and funded by an organization he controls, the Intelligence and Homeland Security Educational Center, right? And it's for the spooks to get together and figure out how they're going to control the world, right? Organized by Robert Katz, that's a Jewish name, and then John Loftus, okay? And an advisory council that includes two past former heads of the CIA, British intelligence senior Mossad officers, the director of Congressional Task Force on Terrorism. You just go down the list, right? Including Yossef Bodansky, special operations expert Marchenko, and retired generals in that, right? And they get funded though through Michael Cherney, right? So this is all these right wing and Fox News specialists on terrorism. Who are they, right? And yeah, they're right down at the bottom there. They send uh, a lot of money. Cheney's well known among these supporters for of Israel and contributed millions of dollars to the right end of Israel stuff. You know, but he's also on the Interpol list of wanted people. We'll get to Cheney here in a minute. Cheney, right? He was John Loftus was the head of the International Holocaust Education Center, part of them, right? And they used the Florida one, the tax exempt status, to do intelligence activities while he was actively working in intelligence. For whom? The Mossad, right? Or was it for the CIA, right? I think they got nailed, dude. So, like, how you gonna use a Holocaust museum to be a spook? But it's serious, I swear. Everything that the Holocaust Museum says is true. They're not run by Mossad or CIA. Yeah, they are. And then this guy's also a monster, you know. It gets interesting. Same thing with Journey. So, because they had some people that fled. and we'll get to that when we get to the Russian Jews. But yeah, they even hired an old Islamic terrorist, Hamid, right? And then they got they got yelled at by people they care, the Council on Anti or American Islamic uh, Relations said that it's just a bunch of right wing spooks, and then they'll pay anybody, including terrorists, to come bash them. So they're getting called out, right? The terrorists working with the right wing CIA. Come on, come on. I wonder who ISIS is. Really? Come on, dude. All you have to do is read this stuff because, like, this one right here talks about Iraq, you know, and then there's another one where they wanted to overthrow Syria, and right, all that jazz. Yeah, right here, regime change in Syria and Iran. Oh, who wants that? That'd be the Mossad, CIA, yeah, operatives out of the Holocaust Museum. So come on here. Like, this is just funny, man. I, you can't make this up. This is all on Wikipedia, dude. Like, it's super easy to research this stuff. So, just like they're mobsters. Like, not ha ha. These people have names, right? So anybody that asks me, like, how could 9/11 have happened, and how come we wouldn't know the truth, and how could it, what the people in charge of the intelligence reports and everything leading up to it, and along with the narrative afterwards, are mobster Mossad agents were doing intelligence out of the Holocaust Museum. I'm pretty sure we're not really told the truth. And if there aren't Zionist right wingers like this, they want the war and support for Israel. So you tell me what was going on in, I don't know, 2000, 2001 prior to. Why did Bibi call it a good thing for Israel that it happened? Because all of a sudden they got the support they needed, and supposedly Al Qaeda was there too, right? Al Qaeda, the boogeyman, also known as the CIA, Mujahideen from the CIA. Uh, so even if they were right, Yossef Bodansky helped create that boogeyman too. So this goes into more about John Loftus. So yeah, it just shows all the Jewish connections there, and it's not me, dude. This guy is like, that's what he does. You know what I mean? So that's who he is. Figure you guys can read while I talk. Scrolling slow enough, I think. Who knows? Oh, we're only 13 minutes in. I might have to speed it up a little bit then towards the end here. So this is the Intelligence Summit's main webpage back. I think they're defunct now, but yeah, Israel Truth Week. They're not in charge of our intelligence and telling us what to. So why are they running our intelligence? Nog, never again group, right? Try Zog, Zionist occupied government, bro. Like, literally, they're the ones saying, "Oh, here's where the boogeyman is. Go to war, Goyim. Go die for us." The Zog Nog. Like, I really can't make this up. Yeah, they work with John Bolton. We all know John Bolton, the warmonger. You know. Yeah, it sure is a threat to America. Yeah, not like the Zog is, and all their buddies that are paid off. You know. from their think tanks that are backed by Israeli mobsters. Oh, who would have thought, Epstein would have nothing to do with it either. Yeah, he's Michael Cherney. Here we go, the big boy, huh? So he's an Israeli entrepreneur industrialist. Okay, he sponsors the Intelligence Summit. He was also the boss of their aluminum industry. So, but he did the typical thing, right? He ended up buying a newspaper, football team, and their own phone company in Bulgaria, right? And then he got expelled due to being a criminal, ties to foreign rackets. This is the guy running our intelligence think tank. Okay, like this isn't my opinion. He's a Israeli Jewish Russian monster criminal. Wanted. You know, uh, the United States denied him a visa since 1999. you know, but I'm sure this has nothing to do with where Buddy Boy, what's his name, BB's son is staying over there in Florida, right? Yeah. Yep. So it goes serious ties to that group, the Rubin brothers. You know, basically, this guy was high up in the organized crime over there. But it gets even more interesting here in a second. So, this guy's buddy has some really interesting things. Yeah, they had their own member of Knesset. Yeah, they had the mobster Knesset person, right? These are all his stuff. Okay, yeah, different operations he was a part of. Yeah, right here. Okay, so they had a business relationship, right? But here, Journey shared a house with Igor Putin, Vladimir's cousin, right? And who else? Beryl Lazar, Putin's rabbi, who is a chief rabbi of Russia. Wait a second, who's this? What? 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 And the Russian mob? He's associated with the Russian mob? It's the Jewish Russian mob? Holy moly. And the Chambers of Commerce? Who would have known it's Shabbat Lubavitch? The Orthodox gangsters, the money makers, the boss. He wasn't borscht. Yeah, so this just goes through the other people associated with. Dude, I always check the names and go back, man. Like, you can't even make this stuff up, you know? The Union, they were the ones that stood up against the communists, right? So they were anti-communist. Not that they were pro whatever. They like to be able to do their gangster stuff, right? And then in the 1970s and 1980s, they sent the Soviet Jews that were the gangsters where to the United States. Who would have guessed? With Little Odessa, I think there's a Lord of War. Yeah, there's a movie about this. Right? Come on. Like, they can't even make this stuff up, but yet they couldn't get away with 9/11. Okay? These are the folks in charge of international terrorism definitions and having these conferences. Like, come on here. You know, and it does affect the U.S., dude. These are the guys that brought in a lot of the drugs and stuff. They helped win during Iran-Contra. Why would you go outside of your own group when you're doing the Iran-Contra stuff? Because this gets interesting in here. They worked with the Contras. They worked, and they worked in Central America with their cocaine. So it just gets real interesting here. And this is all just on Wikipedia. So I'm going to go ahead and speed it up a little bit. Okay, right here, this person though. Monya Elson. Isn't that right? Like, yeah, come on, dude. You ever sent to Brighton Beach because he was killing too many people in Russia? And you could take the contract killings, right? Like, come on here. You can pause it if you want to, like, read this stuff, dude. So, I'll just let this play through for a minute. Yeah, Jewish terrorism that was going on in the 90s in the U.S. by I wonder if it's Italian Jews and Sicilian Jews that did that one too, eh? That would be a funny thing to find out. Probably because it most likely is. But, so even up to the present, we're still under. Hmm. Hmm. Yo. They had a good relationship with Putin. Wait, the white collar crime and the casino clock machines and that. These are the companies and people associated. Oh, I don't know, Tbilisi, Georgia, right? Whatever you say it. I don't know. Maybe that's where that CIA coup's going down. But they would never do that with these intelligence people, and they would never. Dude, that's what they do. That's all they do. It's Operation Gladio, and it's the mob that runs it. And here they are. Michael Cherney. Oh, he's back. Back again. This is interesting, huh? It's common fun kept in the United States. Hmm. Yep, down there at the bottom. What? That's the cocaine in South America. That's what they did. Jim Iran Contra too. That's funny, huh? And then afterwards, no, I don't know. In the 1990s, they controlled the Afghan drugs trade too. Oh, Wait. What? Who was the Taliban against? They were against opium too. They shut that down. Maybe these guys weren't getting their heroin anymore, huh? That wouldn't be a reason for 9/11, huh? And then all of a sudden we go in there and the opium flows again. We were protecting this stuff, man. I had one of the Marines when I was out on field coverage for the shooting range tell me, is one of the range sergeants. He was like, "Yeah, we weren't in the fields. We were protecting them." Carsey's brother was the biggest drug lord there was over there, and they had to let him through the checkpoints when they flagged the vehicle as they knew what was up. You know, but yeah, the Brothers Circle is even labeled by Obama as a terrorist group, right? You know, another one. Yeah, this is the Russian Jewish guy that was the kingpin of New York, right? Like, according to the FBI, whoa, you know. And this is a different guy, right? This was Levetsky. He was the Russian big guy. And it's due to anti-Semitism, they changed their name. So, and then this guy, the other guy, Bruce Hoffman. In a second here, I'm gonna hold up a book after this is all done. There's a book that I have by Yossef Bodansky. Anyway, Bruce Hoffman's this other guy, right? And he was on the Israeli soccer team or field hockey team, sorry. And then he went on to become like a real big guy in counterintelligence and counterterrorism. Like, he was one of the first guys to graduate with that degree. Basically, has ran the worldwide definition since he graduated. Went on to the CIA, the Rand Corporation, and you go down the list. Here's a little bit of what he did. He got his inspiration from the 1972 bombings in Berlin. And it gets real interesting because he's an ardent Zionist, and he even says so. You know, and he was appointed as a commissioner to the Commonwealth, Virginia's Commission to Combat Anti-Semitism. Anti-Semitism. You see that a lot with this guy, right? But then he's over there saying, we need to bomb everybody because they might have this. There was weapons of mass destruction. No, there wasn't. Oh, wait, the ones that Israel tried to give them when they were trying to create an unstable region with the CIA and that too. Then he joined the Rand Corporation, right? In '81. Yeah, and he did a really cool little dealio, which we'll get to in a minute here. But yeah, he was appointed to review the 9/11 Review Commission stuff, right? He was the counterterrorism expert in chief at the CIA between 04 and 06. Opposite, come on, dude. Like, anyway, this guy is literally now in charge of the worldwide definition of terrorism. He's the guy saying, hey, yeah, it's this and not that. It's that and not this, right? But they're the ones that set up the 90s false flags, right? And it's the reason why who they go after, those they were talking about, Zog, right? Ruby Ridge. They even radicalized the people down at Waco, right? And then you have, I don't know, the Mir bombing, and then Twin Towers the first time, then the 98 Embassy bombing, then the Cole. I'm not sure, was there a second Twin Towers? I think there was. And then there, obviously the third one, right? So this is Mossad and the CIA doing the other two. I'm saying they probably did the third one too. Yeah, you can read what all he's done there, right? He's a World Economic Forum show. Yeah, he played goalkeeper on the 79 and 80 Israeli national field hockey team. Okay, this guy's a Mossad Zionist, and he even, he says it. So, yeah. So these guys in charge of the definition of terrorism. But how does he feel about terrorism? It's freaking awesome if Israel does it. If Israel is terrorism to get support, so that way they can bomb people and kill others, expand their state. Hell yeah, dude, he's down for it. Like that was his doctoral thesis, man. Is how great terrorism was for Israel. You know. Yeah, he's the guy that helped make ISIS. Boom. Like, how you gonna trust this guy? This guy just lies. That's all he does. Your lips are moving. You're lying, all that jazz. Yeah, so this guy is like literally like the kingpin of the international Israeli counterterrorism group. As we saw, the other part of it is Jewish mobsters run it. Whoa! So of course you know what's gonna happen if you're in charge of the people that you're making up and you're radicalizing, and they're your operatives like ISIS is. Of course you're gonna be right on with everything. Why? Because you're controlling both sides to get your way, and you're funding it. It's like they did with the Mujahideen. Majideen. Yeah. It literally tells you that there was a downturn in his field in the 90s. His field was going to go away, and 9/11 saved it. Oh, wait, like PNAC? PNAC said that to the Project for a New American Century. They needed a new Pearl Harbor to get their goals. This is the guy that was hanging out with him, and he's the guy that then pushed their goals on the world, and they've gotten every single one of their goals from PNAC's rebuilding uh, America's defenses. You know, that was a pamphlet that was put out on September of 2000, a year before, calling for a new Pearl Harbor. And Donald Rumsfeld, the day before, declares war on the Black Ops budget, which is whose budget? The counterterrorism CIA Black Ops budget, which would directly affecting Yossef Bodansky and Bruce Hoffman, whose jobs just might go away. Then all of a sudden, I don't know the source of their funding at the Twin Towers that had a bunch of shady deals done up to and during the attacks disappeared. The clandestine CIA headquarters at Building 7 disappeared. The Homeland, whatever stuff that they were doing there that would have been the ones responding that day disappeared. And the one area at the Pentagon that had been reinforced called the Catcher's Mitt, which was just happened to be the same name, Catcher's Mitt, as the operation to get bin Laden prior to 9/11, and the area that it had been reinforced. And it just got the records for the audit of the Black Ops budget. Yeah. So this is Bruce Hoffman's original publication for Rand Corporation. He was in charge of the terrorism stuff, right? So yeah, he actually included the Jewish terrorism in this one, right? Of course, though, if you're buddies with the terrorists, what are you going to do? Right? I'm going to tell you exactly what they did. They kept all the other ones. They made up some domestic terrorist groups, and then they deleted the Jewish ones. They were still doing terrorism. Oh, yes, they were throughout the 80s and into the 90s. I'm telling you, this is how they did it. Literally. So if they're not being looked at, right, and you're telling me that you have all the evidence that these other guys did it, but you're not willing to look at any other options when these guys are saying, hey, we're now in charge of the definition this way. And oh, by the way, they bombed somebody there that said that there was not the official 6 million. There's less than that, not even a million, and they bombed her. So anyway, yeah, but those are the people that are getting along with Bruce Hoffman and Yossef Bodansky at this time. They're far right wingers who want to violent support for Israel. How do you get violent support for Israel? We'll get to that in just 1 second with his publications, and he shows you how. Remember, they had ops inside these groups. That's how each time there was a confidential informant in Ruby Ridge, in Waco, the Oklahoma City. You go down the list there. Just be careful, man. Don't follow these cults of personality, man. I should be able to go read stuff, right? Yeah, it's the Jews, but I'm telling you who it is, man. It's Yossef Bodansky, who died now. It's Bruce Hoffman. We have to figure out who his replacement was. But dude, it's these think tanks that are all Jewish mobsters, man. Right? We have the name of the think tanks, right? We can be like, hey, we should probably not be listening to this bomb that guy because he wants us to bomb them. And yeah, his cousins need some backup because they're doing mobster stuff. Come on, guys. Only Jewish related terrorism increased, the rest of it went down. What? But then what are they saying here? And this is in the 80s, right? Let's see how it changes real quick. So now they report that they're getting their stuff off of is from the ADL of B'nai B'rith. Okay. So literally, B'nai B'rith, the ones that supported slavery in that, yeah, the ones that started the Freemasonry in that, yeah, that B'nai B'rith is now influencing directly the Zog. Wait, they're the extremists for saying Zog, but there's a Zionist guy that's now saying we run it, and the B'nai B'rith mobsters are now literally directly influencing the definition of counterterrorism for the CIA of what a terrorist is. Okay, they're getting their hand picking points from them. That's what Bruce Hoffman does. They coordinate. It's an Israeli racket, guys. Okay. They tell you they're doing it. Okay. Again, Bruce Hoffman commenting on everything here, right? Oh, Al Qaeda's still bad and they're still around and he's a shill. No, I'll get there in a second. And yeah, Bruce, you're probably gonna watch this, and so I'm gonna tell you, you know what? You can bend over and kiss my rear end, okay? You probably already have me on your terrorism watch list, right, Bruce? Okay, 1 second. I'm gonna pause it right here. So this was a feud that happened, right, between Hoffman, Bodansky, and Mark Sageman. Now, Mark Sageman is world renowned for some stuff, and we'll get to that in a second. So it was one side is Bruce Hoffman, right? Uh, who had the book Inside Terrorism, 1998. Oh, so he told you it was going to happen. He told you Al Qaeda that they were funding We saw a couple minutes ago that they're funding with Bodansky's buddy. Okay. Right. And on the other side is Mark Sageman. Who's Mark Sageman? This guy is the guy. Like literally, he was the case officer for the CIA as a sociologist that was embedded with the Mujahideen. So Yossef Bodansky ran like the head stuff, right? No, Mark Sageman was the guy on the ground in charge. So he was the guy on the ground in charge of the Mujahideen. He like knew these guys, right? And he said, no, they're just a bunch of ragtag people. All you're going to have is like these radicalized individuals that meet up. There's no like head of the snake anymore. So it's the guy who worked with them the longest, you know? And these other guys are like, no, but we has to be the bad guy because we set it up and we wrote about it for 10 years. And if not, that means that Israel did 9/11. So it has to be them. Literally, dude, that's exactly what happened. This is comical, dude. You know, that's the reason why Dr. Hoffman is so whatever about 2001. They got their budget tripled, man. You know, he became one. We're gonna see who Mark Sageman was, okay? It's so pretty crazy, isn't it? Okay, here we go. He was set up in Islamabad, Pakistan to work with the Mujahideen from 87 to 89. You know, he's a forensic psychiatrist and an expert in counterterrorism. You know, he demolished most of the conventional wisdom about who joins jihadi groups. So he said that Hoffman and Bodansky were wrong. You know, but no one wants to listen to the guy, dude. I'm saying the guy that worked with them the longest knows, bro. Like, what the heck are we doing? Operation Cyclone. Oh, wait, that's where we funded them. Starting in 79. Uh-oh. 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 You mean like prior to the hostages? And I don't know. Israel was involved with that, with Nisker and all that, and they were actually funneling weapons to Iran and to Iran Contra. Oh no. Oh no. Yeah. And this is just a review of his book, right? Of Hoffman's book. So I have to go search it up real quick here. Boom, there it is. Uh-oh. Tornado. No. It's the weather sirens. So yeah, this is what he did, right? This is who he is. Publications. So like literally the first war on terrorism was under Reagan. No, that was a war for terrorism to justify Israeli terrorism. Because you have to make up the boogeyman. And they did, right? Inside terrorism. The first edition was in 99 or 98, right? That's going to be interesting because that was like 98 was a crucial year when that's when Hank Asher lost his dealio, his contract, right? But it's also the 98 bombing where they made Al-Qaeda in charge of that again. And that's the court case that had just gotten done and they were waiting sentencing and they released a wanted poster for bin Laden And the sentencing happened after 9/11, but they had already had the court case for that. Interesting, right? So we're almost done here. Couple more minutes, but yeah. So you can go through and look at the dates, dude. They literally one, and it's a Israeli Mossad behind this, dude. They told you in their own freaking words, man. That's who these guys are. And they're Zionists that'll do whatever it takes to support the nation of Israel, because that's our job as the United States, is to support Israel. And we have nothing better to do than to support Israel, because I can't think of a damn reason why, but obviously they've never been. This was the wrong Bruce Hoffman. This is a lawyer. Oops. Okay. Yeah, it's his book review here. So you can check that out if you want. Yeah, Mark Sageman's the guy that actually was there. We're just about done. So this right here, Bruce Hoffman praising a Palestinian guy as part of the PLO that then worked with Mossad and the CIA to turn over his buddies. Right, but I guarantee you that Mossad and the CIA wouldn't do anything like that. And these are just a bunch of terrorists that don't want their kids to be killed by Israel, and so Israel can take over and just throw people out. That can't be. You can't have people actually standing up for their rights and like owning to own property when you're the chosen people. You have garbage and treat them like dirt, and then you can threaten them too, and then ruin their wells and poison them, and like all the rumors that we've heard about since like the medieval times that are blood libels, but they would never do anything like. Oh, they did. Oops. Yeah, those guys. So he's supporting those guys over. I don't know. Right. And this is right after Arafat got the whole thing with the it was the Camp David peace accords or whatever that Clinton did, right? And then there was an assassination, whatever that the Jews did. And then all of a sudden, this stuff happened. Yeah. So it is superintended by the CIA. What? CIA and the PLO. You wonder why they have Hamas. And then Israel didn't help start Hamas. And the FBI has been funding Hamas through Bassem Sabri, after his stay at Leavenworth. That was 5-star. Yeah, the Jews run both sides. That I'm saying they have been. Right. Anyway, so we're about done, fam. I'm just gonna see if this will catch up real quick, and then I'll just show you the book real quick, and then we will be out of here. Looks like that's that. So I'm going to stop sharing that. Ooh, let's see, did this freeze up? Here we go. Looks like I'm back. Cool. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that, and we're about done. But this right here, right? I might need to see if I can mirror this. Mirror camera. Here we go. Bin Laden, the man who declared war on America by. Not sure we can see it down the bottom there. Yossef Bodansky, right? Well, we're going to go to the copyright page. And it was 1999. Right there, 1999 is when it was made. The book didn't do too well till after 9/11. Then he re-put it out. The man who declared war on America. Yossef Bodansky, not Bin Laden. Yossef Bodansky and Bruce Hoffman declared war on America for the Israeli mobsters. So you guys have a good day, and hopefully you enjoyed.